How you doing, folks? The brakes on this Mk2 Golf behind me here are a bit on the spongy side of things, so let's see if we can fix that. The brakes are working, but I have the car up on axle stands because of the fact that I was replacing the rear wheel bearings. That job is now done and the back brakes are adjusted out and everything like that as well, but the pedal is still just a bit spongy. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. So my next port of call is to change the brake fluid, which is something that should be done on a periodic basis anyway. So let's start with doing that. The first thing I like to do in this job is to actually suck the nasty old brake fluid out of the reservoir, so you're not having to pump all of that through as well. And I'm going to do that with my Swedish made penis enlarger. It's my bag, baby. But so let's have a look and see what sort of nasty crap comes out of here. Now you do need to. There goes the O-ring. I'm going to have to try and retrieve that. You have to take out the little, there's a little screen inside here as well. So if you take out the screen, it's literally just a case of getting your fingers in there, kind of turning it and pulling it out. Easier said than done if it hasn't been taken out in a long time. I can tell you already the smell of this brake fluid is desperate. Let me get a screwdriver and I'll move that around. This thing really put up a fight. Anyway, it's out now. So now let's get our sucky thingy, get it down in there, and the horrible nasty crap that's in here is definitely making me see that this job was long overdue. Have a look at that. Definitely not supposed to be that colour, folks. Right, I'm going to dispose of this in a suitable receptacle and we'll get some more out. I'm actually going to pour some clean brake fluid into there just to dilute it a little bit and try and get the last of the crap out of there, because there's a lot of residue in the bottom of that. I'm just sucking it out and blowing it back in again with the intention that it will mix up with what's in there. It's looking a lot better in there though now. One of the things you need to remember about a Mk2 Golf is that there is a brake bias adjuster on the back axle. Now, if you have the car up on jacks like I do here at the moment, you will get no fluid through it because the bias adjuster is going to basically cut the back brakes. So what you need to do is get underneath with a cable tie and just basically cable tie it so it's fully shut and allowing all the fluid to the back brakes that it would allow. So that's what I've done. And it means that we can adjust, or we can bleed the back brakes and the front brakes. And I'm going to use this, which is a Gunson Eezibleed. And you have to be kind of careful about this piece of gear because it has been known to make a mess on me in the past, and you don't really want that. So just tread carefully. So I will be using I think I'll use the spare wheel off the MG, and basically we're just going to put 20 psi of air in it. And that'll do just to get the fluid through the system, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the first thing to do is just to pop our strainer back in. There we go. And next we are going to fill the reservoir. Okay, so that's the reservoir full now. Now we're going to fill our Eezibleed. Before we fill it, I'm going to just check and make sure that there isn't any leaks. So that's the best way of doing that. I suppose what I'll do is I'll just put the cap on and we'll see if it pressurizes without sending brake fluid all over the place. Now, we're just going to put it onto the front wheel of the car here, actually. Okay. It's worth checking because that leaked. Okay, so it's taken a bit of doing to make sure we have an airtight seal on this bottle here, simply because of the fact it's been so long since it's been used, and I just think the seals have failed in it or something like that. But I was able to cut off bits of the tube and make it work basically. So it's sitting there with pressure in it at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the pressure off, and I'm going to fill this with brake fluid, and we're going to start bleeding the brakes. Okay, so there's our bleed nipple there. You'll see I took the time just to clean the corrosion off it. so that we get a nice seal with a rubber tube when we put it on. And I am going to put the rubber tube on now. And without even faffing around with a spanner, I'm actually going to just get a vice grips onto it. Because to be honest with you, they never open with a bloody spanner. Not these small ones anyway. The ones that have a 7/16 hex on it, they sometimes do. But these ones, no, forget about it. So anyway, there's our pipe on. So I'm going to stick that into an old brake fluid bottle there. And we will connect up our Eezibleed and we'll crack that off and we should see the nasty brake fluid coming out of there. Alright, so let's see what comes out. Up. Where do you think you're going? Let a decent bit out. In actual fact, the brake fluid that's coming out of those lines doesn't actually look all that bad. But what I am noticing is there's no air in it, which is great. So it's very important to make sure you keep an eye on your brake fluid levels as well. So this will be the one where we flush the most fluid through because it's the first one we're doing. Okay, I think we'll call it at that. We got, let's have a look and see how much we got out of there. Not a great deal, to be honest with you. You can see it's just I think we might go a bit further than that. See, don't forget you're flushing the brake bias adjuster with this as well. So if you want to do the job properly, realistically, you just need to take your time and let it flow through. Get yourself 2 litres of brake fluid. You may not use it all, but at least you have it spare. Okay, now, nice bit of fluid through there now, at this stage. So maybe, this is 1 litre, so 250 mils. I think that's more than enough. So, yeah, now, next thing to do is just make sure that's fully tight and take off our hose and put our little rubber cap back on, wherever the hell that went. Right, there it is. And we do the other side in the back. Alright, that's looking pretty good there now at that. So we've got a nice bit of fluid out of there. So we will call it that. So that's the back axle done. So now all we have to do is just do the front, the calipers on the front. And that's basically it. It's also very important when you're doing this that you make sure that at some point or another you kick over the jar or bottle that you're collecting your brake fluid in and spill it all over the place. If you don't do that, you're not doing it right. I'm telling you now, okay? So make sure that you spill it all over the place and you make a mess. At least I've always found that that's absolutely necessary. Funnily enough, the front brakes actually have the 7/16 hex on them, so makes life a bit easier in that regard. So let's get a bit of fluid out of this. We want to get a decent bit out of here again because we're doing the entire front circle on this side. In actual fact, I should have done the other side first, but for the purposes of this exercise, it'll be fine. You work from the furthest point away from the master cylinder back to the closest point. So the closest point is actually the driver's side wheel, which is what I'm doing now. But look, it'll still work anyway. Now, if this car had a hydraulic clutch, for argument's sake, it's actually automatic. But if it had a hydraulic clutch, I would suggest you do the clutch, bleed the clutch while you're at it as well, because you have the brake fluid, you have the kit out. So why wouldn't you do it? You know, I mean, it's just it seems to make good sense in my mind anyway. Now, so that's driver's side front done. I'm using an 11mm spanner, but if you haven't got an 11mm spanner, or if you have a 7/16, that's actually the correct one. I do. I'm just not bothered digging it out. Well, we're finished. So all the brakes are bled, and she's good to go. And by the way, for those of you wondering, I re-inflated the front right tyre, which I was using for the pressure for the Eezibleed. So let's close the bonnet. Mind your fingers. Now let's see how the brake down. Let's see how the brakes feel.
Okay, time to win.
Yeah, just a second now. Oh, wow. Much better. I wonder was there ever a bit of air in them, actually, to be honest with you, because they are way better than they've ever been before.
Yeah,
there was air in them, was there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. That might be what it was. Now, you wanted to see the pulleys going round and round on the engine, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, well then let's open it again. Okay, so no more spongy brakes, so the fluid change helped. And to be honest with you, you'd want to be doing that kind of every 2 or 3 years anyway on a car. So definitely a job that was worth doing, and not particularly difficult. I mean, the Eezibleed kit is actually quite cheap as well, to be honest with you. So if it's a case where it's one of those things you want to be doing on your own, then go and buy it. Or there's other kits available that allow you to do it as well. Yeah, anyway, let's start her up now. Mind you stand back, okay? Now stand over beside me. There you go. Yeah, you see them all going round and round.
Whoa!
That's the alternator.
Yeah, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. And power steering pump down there.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, now
What is that?
that's where the air comes in for the engine.
Yeah, that's what it's doing that.
Yeah. Start them young, folks.
And what is that over there?
That is a fuel filter. One which I could probably do with changing actually soon enough. That is part of the air filter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, stand back on. We're going to bring it out of the garage, okay? Let's leave it there, folks. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.